means it's time for a video on YouTube. And so here I am. I'm pretty certain I'm on YouTube, both on my camera and on my computer. So I could be batting almost, 1,000. I think that's a good thing. I don't really know enough about baseball to know, but I'm pretty sure that's a good thing. So let me just be sure that I am actually transmitilating on my YouTube channel. And it would appear that I am, so that is a good thing. All right, so my card today is super easy, and I love it because of the Wildlife Wonder set. Now this set, very much a masculine bent, but obviously you could make it for anybody that wanted something of this nature. Get it? Nature. There's nature. Hi, Kathy. Appreciate you joining. Hi, Rosie. Thank you for letting me know I'm transmitilating. Now, this is a distinctive stamp set, and as I've mentioned, sometimes distinctive sets and I have a difference of opinion about how well they're going to work, but this one, I can tell you, I tested it the other night on my Zoom, the craft room, with everybody, and it was, it's a very, very cool set. Now, hey, Roz. Hey, Linda. I actually bought this because of the owl. I love the owl. And then next favorite is the bear because he's so cute. And then this little wolf. I have not had a chance to use the wolf or the bear yet, or really anything but sentiments and the owl, but it does what I needed it to do for this card. And the other piece is, of course, my new workhorse, which is the stylish shapes. And Stampin' Up, if you're watching, which I'm certain you are because, it's me, this needs to be in the catalog for like ever. Just saying. Hey everybody, appreciate you guys joining me. I hope you're ready for a fun little quick card. And we're going to do a little cutting and we're going to do a little stamping and we're going to get after it. So here's the card. It's a little bit different from what I sneak peeked you this morning because I changed my mind about that one. You may see it one day, but it was a little more complicated even for me. And so I just figured it was better to go with something a little simpler. All right, so here we go. I've got some He's the Man DSP. I have a sentiment from Wildlife Wonder. And then when you open it up, we have that really pretty owl and another cool sentiment. Okay, so let's get started. I have everything cut out, almost everything. We're going to have to do a little bit of die cutting, but that's okay because I've got my mini sitting here ready to roll. But let's go ahead and get going with this. I've got some of the He's the Man DSP. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Sandra. Appreciate you guys coming. Karen and Denise, appreciate you coming. I hope y'all are having a good long weekend. I hope you'll take a moment, especially on Monday, and remember the reason that we're having a Memorial Day. And if you recall, Veterans Day is for anyone who's served, living or deceased. Memorial Day is for those who have lost their lives, especially and specifically in the line of duty and in combat. But it's really everyone who, that old saying, some gave all gave some gave all. Well, Memorial Day is for some gave all. Veterans Day is all gave some. All right, so we got that adhered, and then I cut two. I used the next to largest square for these two pieces, and they're just two coordinating pieces of the DSP, and I am going to adhere them on an angle like that. And what I recommend that you do when you're doing this, because I want it to kind of go off of the edge, set it on your card base. And my card base this time is going to be Evening Evergreen. So I've got really early espresso, crushed curry, Sahara sand, and Evening Evergreen. So I'm going to adhere them like that. And then the next piece that goes on is the largest of the stitch shapes, and it's going to be like so. Okay, so let's use a little liquid glue to adhere these to start. Thanks, Jean. Okay, so you can see I'm letting that come off of the edges of the card front, but I'm keeping it on my card base, which is why I try to keep my card front actually where it's going to mount, okay? If you let it go cockamamie, I don't like to mount it quite yet because I want to have the opportunity to screw up and not ruin an entire card base. But it does help if you keep everything kind of lined up the way it's supposed to be. So we'll use a little more liquid glue here and adhere this one down. And again, I'm coming off of the edge, about to the edge of the card base itself. Okay, and then we're going to adhere this little guy with some dimensionals. Thanks, Tara. All right, here's some dimensionales. And I know it's a small square, but I'm still going to use my requisite 9, not just because it's 9 and that's what I do, but when I'm popping up fairly large pieces of DSP versus a matted DSP, it's a little flimsier. So I like it to have a little more support, which means I'm going to go the tiniest bit overboard on dimensionals, which, you know, is very unusual for me. I'm usually very, very frugal with the dimensionals. Said nobody ever about Mary and her dimensionals. Okay. But sometimes dimensionals are persnickety about giving up their covers. So I've been practicing reels. I've got like 3 done now. There will be one that comes out next week. And I have discovered that you don't do dimensional cover removal as part of your reel because it takes way too long, especially when, you know, you use a excess number of them. So my reels will always skip there. All right, I'm going to adhere this just like that, right, like so. And then I'll take some Stampin' Seal, and this is plus. I prefer the plus. It's just me. You can use whatever. And I'm going to make a little line right there and use it to adhere a length of the Sahara Sand twill ribbon. Now this is really cool because it comes in a pack with some slightly narrower Old Olive twill ribbon, but they're both very, very nice. They have a good feel to them. I like them quite a bit. So I'm going to lay this across, and I'm going to let it extend off of the edge as well. And just bring it out like so, and then take my scissors and cut it right there, just like that. So don't ask me how long that is. It's as long as it needs. Did you ever ask your mom how long you cook cookies for, or bake bread, or bake a cake? And the answer was until it's done, which is not really helpful, right? I mean, what I'm asking is, at what point do I start looking, right? Is it an hour and a half later, or is it 15 minutes after I go put it in? I always wanted a little more definitive answer. Could be the engineer in me. Okay, now I'm going to stamp a note of thanks in Evening Evergreen on a piece of basic white. Now, let me tell you a little something, something. Actually, is that Evening Evergreen? This is what I don't know. Yeah, sure it is. It could be that. Or it could be Soft Succulent. I think it's Soft Succulent. Let me see. I'm going to test it here. Now I have forgotten. Definitely, well, you know how I know it's Soft Succulent, not Evening Evergreen? Because Soft Succulent is out. Okay, so it's definitely Soft Succulent. Sorry. Hey, Margene, appreciate it. Thanks, Sandra. Okay, remember I've told you about testing your cling stamps on something to see if they're going to stamp straightly. Because it depends on how good a job you did putting the sticker on and how good a job they did carving it. Watch this. Now I am lining up my sticker, a note, which is a straight line, as best I can with that straight line on my grid. And that's pretty good. However, when we get to the inside, watch this one. See, I've got 2A lined up on that line. Not so bueno, right? So what I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is no perfect. Only God gets to be perfect, and he does not make rubber stamps, right? So this is a machined process that's put in by humans, and things are fallible. So there's nothing wrong with it, unless, you know, like the the image is completely off of the stamp, and then that's a whole different thing. But if it's a little bit crooked, that's fine. You just have to know it, which is why you test it ahead of time. So now I know when I stamp it, I'm going to go straight, and then I'm going to tilt a little bit to the right. Okay, so I'm going to go straight and tilt a little bit to the right. And there I have straight. So remember, data is critical. As long as you know what you're dealing with, you'll be good to go. Alrighty. Hey Sharon, appreciate you joining. Okay, so put this aside. This one doesn't really matter because I'm going to cut it out with a circle die. So we'll just give that a good little stamp right there. And then I'm going to bring my mini over. And we're going to see if I can get a good die cut without a magnet plate. Hopefully I can. I probably can. And I'm using the third from the smallest of the round dies. And it's just going to be straight up in the middle. No cheating of up or down, left or right. No need to do that on this. Just put the sentiment right in the middle of your die. Put the sentiment right in the middle of your die, Mary. The nice thing is it doesn't matter if the sentiment is straight, right? Because I can twist it when I get it on there. As long as it's right in the center. There we go. All right. Sorry for the wiggling. It's like a little mini earthquake. You do not have to duck or cover. You'll be fine. Okay, so there we go. We'll get this out the way now. Hey, Judy. Yeah, I'm not quite addicted, Tara, because they still cause my blood pressure to go up a little bit because I'm worried about doing them right. But I'm certain it's like driving a stick. I will get it. I will get it. Okay. So we're going to pop this little guy on with some dimensionals. And that's pretty much good. You know, I've been having some issues with my dimensional strips this week. They just go walkabout. Okay, so let's just go ahead and pull out another strip. Good Lord. Maybe I used all of them. Is that possible? I think that's possible. That was it. All right, here we go. We'll put these on. We're only going to use 3. We're going to live on the wild side and only use 3. Now, on my sample, I did not use any other embellishment besides the ribbon, but you could absolutely add whatever you like. And if I was picking and going to add an embellishment, it would be some rustic metallic adhesive back dots. That's what I would add on here. But you can do you, of course. I'm going to leave it unadorned, unadornified. There we go. And therein is our card front. Like that. Done. Done and done. So easy. Thank you, Stylish Shapes. Okay, now let's have a little fun with our owl, shall we? The first thing I'm going to do is in the middle of my basic white panel, I'm going to stamp that sentiment that I just showed you. I know, and I'm hoping, you know, we're bringing the embossing buddy back. I'm hoping that very, very soon, they will bring the Stamp-A-Majig back. Because the Stamparatus is awesome. I'm fixing to show you how awesome it is exactly. But it is not a Stamp-A-Majig. It's a different purpose entirely. It's like trying to use a C17 when what you needed was a C5. Okay, so we remember we're a little bit crooked cockamamie. So I'm going to line it up straight as I can. And then I'm going to tilt it a little bit. Like that. All right. The water is back. The water is great. It's hot when it's supposed to be hot. It's cold when it's supposed to be cold. It mostly doesn't smell like chlorine, but you know, we don't have chlorinated water here. So any little whiff of chlorine smells like a lot, right? And so we're doing great. Thank you for asking. All right, now I'm going to put this little guy into my Stamp-Opotamus. I'm going to get my owl out. And we're going to line him up right about there, like that, and pick him up. And then I'll go ahead and put some magnets, because I'm going to be double stamping possibly, and I don't want my panel to move. Yes, the embossing buddy is back. Linny, enjoy your pizza, dear. Okay, so I'm just going to first off ink up in crumb cake, because I kind of want you to see how cool this image is just all by itself. It's pretty stinking cool. You could stop right there, okay? Or you can do like I've done and help it along a little bit with some Stampin' Write markers. And you can use almost anything you like. I'm adding a little crumb cake around his little eyeballs, a little bit of soft suede around his eyeballs too. And you don't have to do too much. And because you have the Stamp-A-Majig, no, the Stampopotamus, you can ink and stamp and see what you get. Okay, a little bit of soft suede for the stump he's sitting on. You can see it starting to add some texture already. And then I'll put a little bit of soft suede on his feathers. Now I'm not going to get too far down because I don't really want to cover up my sentiment if I can help it. Okay. And you can start to see some shading coming in here. But again, as cool as this image is and as nicely done as it is, you could probably get away without even doing this part. Just ink this booger up, stamp it, and go on with it. Go on with it. All right. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of early espresso. Easy to get early espresso too much, so do a little bit and then see what you got. And that may be all you want. I'm going to add a little more. Again, not going down too far in here because that's the part that's over my sentiment. There we go. Just adding a little bit of color. Because I don't think that hurt anything. I kind of like it actually. So we're going to stop right there. Stop while you're ahead, something I very seldom actually say, let alone do. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this to our crushed curry mat. Alrighty. So obviously you could use any sentiment you wanted in here. You could not use a sentiment at all. My personal opinion is the bear's a little big as an inside sentiment. The wolf would probably be good. And certainly you could even just use the flowers, right? I mean, it's a very versatile little set and I like it a lot. I bought it for the owl, but I'm really happy it's got all of the other wonderful things in it. All right. So you guys don't forget, coming up on the 1st of June, the last chance sale will go live. Everything is while supplies last. And in fact, everything that's on that list is already while supplies last, even though the sale prices have not kicked in. So if there's something you really love and really want, I'm just going out on a limb and saying you might want to get it now. What was I doing? Oh yes, I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. All right. Also, there's only a couple of days left for the In Color Starter Kit. So if you are on the fence about joining, holler at me. Let's talk about the benefits of joining, and we can talk about any concerns you have about it so that I can let you know that it is very non-scary, very non-commitment, and a really good deal. So give me a holler. Send me an email. My phone number is in my signature block on my blog every day. You're welcome to call me. Truth in advertising. If you come through unknown, which you probably will, I may let you go to voicemail. So leave me a voicemail and then I'll call you back. Because, you know, I don't know about you, but I get a few calls from robo people that I would rather not get a call from. So I tend to ignore phone calls from numbers that I don't know. All right. And there, as they say in the industry, is the card. They don't say that. They totally don't say that. All right, let's go ahead and put an owl on my envelope. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this down so that I can just not mess with cleaning the stamp, because I'd have to clean the stamp and make sure it was good and dry. And, you know, nobody wants to do that. So I'm just going to move, I'm going to hinge step down. And then I'm going to set my envelope where I want it, hold it in place with magnets, and ink it with crumb cake. Hey, Karen, appreciate you coming. It's a busy weekend. We'll just stamp it like so, and then do a little bit of that, you know, embellishizing. We'll do a little bit of embellishizing here. Some soft suede around the eyeballs, around the feathers. We don't have to worry about getting too far down because we don't have a sentiment to protect. A little bit on the stump. And it really kind of instantaneously starts to come together, right? You can start to see that additional kind of detail really fast. And then we'll use a little bit of the early espresso. Thanks, Marianne. Around his eyes. There we go. Like so. Gotta love a Stamparatus, man. Right? I mean, seriously. How cool is that? All right, let's put him out of the way, and we'll put a little bit of DSP on our envelope flap. And we'll be done, We'll be done, Thank you. Who's a great guy? It should. It should. Opportunity lost. Probably they were thinking this was going to be like a serious set instead of a punny set. Now, just a note, when you got an up and a down on your DSP, I mean, you can put it on upside down, but that would make me crazy, and I'd have to make a whole new envelope if I did that. So let's not do that. Don't do that. Put the right side up and the wrong side down. Alrighty. And there we go. Easy and also peasy. I know masculine cards can be hard. I highly recommend Wildlife Wonder. And of course, the beautiful He's the Man DSP is ripe with possibilities. And don't forget all of the wonderful die cuts that come with that DSP. Remember, you get 10 sheets of DSP and 2 sheets of die cuts, which is really cool. So there we go. 2 cards. Suitable for a dude. Suitable for, well, you know, I'm just going to say it's really kind of for a dude. And y'all can tell me all about pronouns and whatever, but it's kind of for a dude. But leave it off. Don't put the sentiment in here. Just don't do it. If you do that and leave it with a no sentiment inside, I would put your owl down in this corner like is in the envelope flap. But that's just me. You can do you. Isn't that the cool thing about this little hobby? All right, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Take a moment on Monday to thank you. Freedom isn't free isn't just a phrase. All right. Have a good one. Ta.